Space tourism. Source, Wanderlust. By visualgk.com. Infinity and beyond. Many companies are looking to orbital and suborbital flights for space tourism opportunities. These involve riding in a rocket or aircraft to the limit of Earth's atmosphere, just above it, or all the way to the International Space Station. Many think space tourism will follow a path similar to early aviation, with very rich individuals footing the early bill for development, and trips becoming more affordable over time. Several private companies are developing orbital flights, and according to data from Northern Sky Research, around 60,000 passengers will go into space over the next decade. Virgin Galactic. SpaceShipTwo, VSS Unity, takes off from a runway, and is gently carried to 15,000 meters by a mothership plane, and then a smaller suborbital spaceplane is launched out of the atmosphere, before gliding back to Earth, and landing like an aeroplane. It seats 6 passengers, and 2 pilots. Virgin's flights launch from Spaceport America, in New Mexico, and cost £405,500 per seat. The flights last 2.5 hours, with a gentle ascent, and 3 to 6 minutes of zero-gravity weightlessness, as well as views of Earth's curvature. Blue Origin. The New Shepard is a reusable vehicle that takes off in a vertical launch, and travels around 3 times the speed of sound, past the Kármán line, 100 kilometers above Earth, then makes a gentle descent using parachutes. It seats 6 people, is fully autonomous, and has no pilots. Blue Origin's flights launch from Launch Site 1, near Van Horn, in the West Texas desert, and an auction for a seat on the first flight went for £23 million. The journey lasts 11 minutes, with several minutes floating in weightlessness. SpaceX. SpaceX is developing a suite of space experiences, with its Dragon and Starship spaceships, which launch from several space facilities in the US. The flights range from 3 days in orbit, to 10 days aboard the ISS, and they have ambitious plans to take tourists to the Moon, and eventually Mars. Currently, multi-day trips to the ISS are going for £45 million per seat. Axiom Space is utilizing a SpaceX rocket to take passengers to the International Space Station for 10-day missions, twice per year, and had its first successful trip in 2022. Another alternative is SpaceX's plan to offer point-to-point Earth travel via low orbit, allowing 100 passengers to travel around the world at high speeds. A trip from Shanghai to New York could take 40 minutes. Floating on air. A less expensive option in the works is the emergence of zero-pressure balloons. These involve a slow float up to the outer reaches of the atmosphere via a helium balloon, and don't require special passenger training. Though they won't technically reach outer space, they go much higher than a plane, with multiple companies offering far more geographical diversity. Operators include Space Perspective, launching from Florida in 2024 with a gentle 19 km per hour ascent. Trips cost £103,000 per seat, and take 6 to 8 hours, with dining, drinks, music and, crucially, a toilet on board. Worldview will launch from the Great Barrier Reef and a handful of global locations, while Zefalto will run balloon trips to the outer atmosphere from France by 2025. Halo Space will offer a similar trip, and in Japan, Iwaya has a budget-minded microcapsule that seats 1 passenger plus a pilot, which will launch from Hokkaido and rise 25 kilometers into the stratosphere over 2 hours. Staying on firm ground. There are a variety of ground-based experiences that can fulfill travelers' space dreams, without the vast financial outlay of heading into orbit. Here are just a few ways you can cross the final frontier, without leaving terra firma. NASA Space Centers, USA. For around 50 years, the Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral have given visitors a taste of space via their immersive tours. The experiences here engage you in every aspect of space exploration, from seeing replica rockets tower overhead to taking part in astronaut training. You can even enjoy a day-long Mars base experience, during which you can try your hand at managing a base and harvesting extraterrestrial vegetables. The Johnson Space Center, in Houston, lets you explore its astronaut training facility, see the colossal Saturn V rocket, and head inside Mission Control, the control center. Apollo 13 astronaut Jack Swigert was addressing, when he uttered the immortal phrase, "Houston, we have a problem." The Jet Propulsion Laboratory, in Pasadena, California, offers free guided tours. Locations include its visitor center, and an engaging display charting NASA's exploration of our solar system's moons and planets, as well as the spacecraft assembly facility. And in Huntsville, Alabama, the U.S. Space and Rocket Center is home to one of the most extensive collections of space artifacts, totaling more than 1,500 pieces. Centre Spatial Guyanaise, French Guiana. French Guiana might initially seem like a strange place for Europe's spaceport, but its proximity to the equator makes it a far more efficient location from which to launch spacecraft, thanks to the Earth's spin being significantly quicker here. This remote space center also delivers one of the world's most comprehensive experiences. Its 3-hour guided tour takes you all around the facility, with the visit to its huge launch pad being the particular highlight. Baikonur Cosmodrome, Kazakhstan. Go back to where it all began. The Baikonur Cosmodrome is where Yuri Gagarin took his historic flight, over 60 years ago. Once the shining jewel in Soviet space ambition, the Cosmodrome was off limits to visitors for many years, but is now open for guided tours. The site is huge, and tours help you absorb many of the 14 launch pads, 34 engineering complexes, and 2 aerodromes. You'll peer into the very launch pad Gagarin took off from, as well as the cottage he holed up in for the days before his landmark launch. Please like, share and subscribe. visualgk.com